Praescient Analytics is a leading provider of analytical support services to clients across the defense, intelligence, and commercial industries. Our analysts are domain experts first and product vendors second. We combine some of the most innovative technologies with cutting-edge analysis techniques to solve our clients' complex data challenges. Leveraging best-in-class platforms, Praescient's Analysis as a Service team has supported a wide range of clients across 6 continents, designing workflows for an extensive number of use cases from financial fraud to military operations and beyond. In March 2020, the coronavirus triggered a series of lockdowns and business closures aimed at protecting the American public. Small businesses were some of the hardest hit by the pandemic, and the U.S. government rapidly mobilized to provide assistance to small businesses in the form of the CARES Act and emergency legislation. In the hopes of preventing a worsening of the economic downturn, and to help American business owners as quickly as possible, programs under the CARES Act have been understandably more flexible in areas related to application processes for loans and funding to save businesses. Unfortunately, this left an opening for criminal actors to take advantage of the crisis for their own financial benefit. To date, the Department of Justice has launched over 50 criminal prosecutions against individuals or groups fraudulently seeking or obtaining loans from the Paycheck Protection Program alone. With an impressive history of supporting fraud, waste, and abuse investigations at DOJ and beyond, analysts at Praescient took on the challenge of developing a series of workflows for analyzing trends within the loan activity, identifying fraud indicators, and confirming the misuse of Paycheck Protection Program funds. With the continuance of the pandemic, small businesses are still in need, and the quicker we can develop solutions to identify bad actors, the more funds we can put back in the hands of the American business owner. Using a combination of real and notional data, today's demonstration will show how Praescient is uniquely suited to support COVID-19 fraud, waste, and abuse challenges by combining its investigative expertise with powerful technologies, where we can directly solve these matters on behalf of clients or train organizations to do so themselves, to capture criminals and identify millions of dollars in misused government funding. We will begin our analysis in Tableau, a powerful business intelligence tool which will allow us to make sense of large amounts of data and begin to dive into some trends within Paycheck Protection Program loan activity. This dashboard provides visualizations of PPP loan distribution data provided by the Small Business Administration. On the left, we have a map and table breaking down the PPP loan allocation by U.S. state. To the right, we have a series of visuals that give us a bit more information about where, when, and to who these loans were delivered, starting with the NAICS sector. As we would expect, the healthcare industry leads the pack in loan funding. 2 other notable categories are food services and retail trade, sectors hit hard by the stay-at-home orders. We also have a temporal visual indicating when most of the loans were approved. Here we can see that the vast majority of loans were approved in April, followed by low loan approval counts until the applications closed in August. Another interesting finding here is that there was a significant gap for about a week in April when no loans were approved, indicating a potential kink in the approval process that could be a source for further investigation. At the bottom of the dashboard, we have breakdowns of the loan sizes and the top loan lenders. Despite media coverage emphasizing multi-million-dollar PPP loans, we see here that over 2/3 of all loans were under $50,000. While large-scale loans are still important to anti-fraud efforts, this cautions us not to neglect the opportunity for fraud in lower-value loans. Looking at the map scale, we see that California and Texas have received the largest portions of the allocated funds, closely followed by New York and Florida. When we select these states, our table filters and shows us the number of loans, total dollar amount of allocated loans, the average dollar amount per loan, and the number of PPP fraud cases in each state. While California has both the highest number of loans and dollars distributed, New York pulls ahead in average amount per loan, and Florida has the highest number of PPP fraud cases. In order to look closely at fraud specifically, we can select PPP fraud cases and move to a fraud-specific dashboard for further analysis. This dashboard has been designed for gathering trends and OSINT on past fraud cases in order to drive future anti-fraud efforts. The data behind this dashboard has been compiled from press releases from the Department of Justice and affiliated agencies. This dashboard features information on all fraud cases prosecuted in relation to the CARES Act. To look specifically at fraud under the Paycheck Protection Program, we can filter by fraud type, and the rest of our visuals will readjust to reflect only those PPP cases. While the dates of all cases span from March to October, we see here that the prosecution of PPP loan cases is more recent, spanning from May to October, peaking in August. Since most applications were filed in April, we can conclude that many cases are taking on average 2 to 3 months to be fully investigated and announced. On the map, we can also see that Texas and Florida stand out as having the highest number of PPP fraud cases, with 9 and 11 cases respectively. At the bottom of the dashboard, we have a case docket where we can learn more about each case, including the names of the subjects and a summary of the case. We can also go to the original source for more details. These dashboards allow us to drill down into trends and begin to understand where fraud tends to take place and the strategies fraudsters use to manipulate the CARES Act. Now we can select the table to move into eiaInvestigate and begin to look for fraud, waste, and abuse in application-level loan data. eiaInvestigate is a big data search and discovery tool, giving investigators and legal staff an intuitive way to quickly search through millions of records. In this platform, we have loaded a series of notional datasets that would be necessary to conduct a thorough fraud investigation and detect suspicious activity within PPP loan applications. In addition to the loan applications themselves, we have also included business registration records from the System for Award Management, or SAM, as well as the Social Security Administration Death Master File. The inclusion of these records will allow us to ensure that no applications have been filed under ineligible businesses, and that no applications have been filed under the names of people who have passed, 2 common methods for acquiring fraudulent funds. Let's move into Analyst Notebook Premium to begin building out our fraud detection workflow. Analyst Notebook Premium connects to the information store, meaning we have access to all of the same information we just saw within eiaInvestigate. Let's start with that second fraud scenario and see if there are any applicants that match entities on the SSA Death Master File. When we uploaded the Death Master File, person entities were created, and if any applicant matched a person on the death registry, those entities would merge. So let's set up a visual search of our database, looking for persons tied to applications. For visual search, we can set search criteria for each of the entity attributes. So let's look for applicants with death dates before the closure of PPP applications on August 8th. When we run the search, we get 3 hits. By copying these to the chart and expanding, we can begin to investigate further. For Ariana Taylor, we see that her date of death was in July, but her application was approved back in April. Same goes for Griffin Jones. While they may require inquiries on where the loan funding ended up, these records are not inherently suspicious, since the applicants were still alive at the time their applications were sent in. Moving on to David Zimmerman, we see that these 2 applications, both for multi-million-dollar loans, were submitted in July, months after his death date in March. Now that we have identified suspicious activity, we can move these entities to a new chart and flag David Zimmerman. Using the Expand feature, we can populate the chart with all of the additional information in our database tied to Zimmerman and the businesses he filed applications for. As we expand, one interesting finding is that one of the businesses Zimmerman filed 2 applications for, David's Cafe, is tied to a SAM registration record. According to the information from SAM, this business was at one point eligible for federal assistance awards, but that has since expired, meaning PPP loans for this business should not have been approved. With a quick OSINT search on David's Cafe in Miami, we see that the business is flagged as closed, and we see multiple news articles confirming that the cafe closed earlier this year. Between the SAM registration record and OSINT information, it looks probable that the suspect stole the identity of David Zimmerman and used his identity to file a number of PPP loan applications, several to a business that no longer exists. We still have a few other businesses and applications within the Zimmerman network, so let's exhaust the expand function to bring all of the information at our disposal onto the chart. When we rearrange our results, it appears that there are 4 individuals who have been sending in PPP loan applications for the same businesses as David Zimmerman. Looking closer, there are some indicators of suspicious activity, like the fact that 2 companies, H-Town Media and Houston Media Company are using the same address in their applications. We also have individuals that seem very similar, notably Ben Garcia and Benny Garcia, and Eric Turner and Jen Turner. Find matching entities will help us identify whether or not we suspect that these people are the same, and are attempting to disguise their identities in order to submit multiple applications. Sure enough, our search indicates a strong match between Ben and Benny Garcia, as well as Jen and Eric Turner, due to matching social security numbers. We can merge these entities to clarify the activity on our chart. Each of the 3 individuals on the chart have submitted multiple PPP applications, and it seems they are all connected to 2 media companies in Houston, Texas, and David's Cafe in Miami, Florida. Using the tools in Analyst Notebook Premium, we were able to quickly uncover this ring of suspected criminal activity, where bad actors seem to be submitting falsified PPP loan applications in 2 states that we have previously flagged as prone to Paycheck Protection Program fraud. One of the key value adds of a Praescient solution is that the same platform used to identify potentially fraudulent activity within government records can also be used for the next phase of an investigation when legal staff have enough evidence to subpoena information like transaction records. In response to our previous findings, investigators have subpoenaed Eric Turner's bank transactions for the month of June, which you can see here on the chart. When we open up bar charts and histograms, we can look at the dollar amounts for each of the transactions and see that most are between $0 and $200. However, we can also see that there are a number of high-value transactions. Highlighting all transactions above $3,000, we can bring up a time histogram to see that these payments were all made towards the end of the month. We can then move these transactions over to a timeline. In this view, we can see that Turner's account has received a number of high-value wire transfers, ranging from $7,000 to $20,000 from 2 different accounts. After receiving these payments, Turner went on to make a series of large credit card payments and spend thousands of dollars at luxury stores. He even spent $11,000 at a Mercedes-Benz dealership in Miami. Our suspect was using business-saving CARES Act funding to buy a car. We can use the Style tab to make these transactions prevalent and send our final conclusions to colleagues or a superior. Within this workflow, not only were we able to pick out a manageable number of fraudulent entities from a database of tens of thousands of government records, but we were also able to continue the investigative process to show that the funds were both illegally obtained and illegally spent on personal luxuries. That concludes our demonstration of how Praescient's technology solution can be deployed in the fight against fraud in the Paycheck Protection Program. While this demonstration focused on the Paycheck Protection Program, our workflows are designed to be easily adaptable to detect fraud, waste, and abuse within a number of CARES Act initiatives. Praescient remains at the forefront of anti-fraud efforts surrounding the U.S. coronavirus response, and we will continue to develop new methodologies as bad actors shift their methods and as the government releases new forms of aid in the future. To see how we can provide specific and tailored analytical support to your organization, please contact us today. Thank you for tuning into our demonstration, and please check out the rest of our channel to learn about our other technology partners and innovative use cases. For more information on Praescient Analytics, please visit our website, find us on social media, or contact us directly at bd@praescientanalytics.com.